Welcome to the Gear Slum, your one-stop shop for all things guitar culture nonsense. I'm Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Cole.
We slum it hard so you don't have to.
Guys, we're having fun.
I said that really weird.
So you don't have to.
We slum it hard so you don't have to. Hey, we slum it hard, hey. All right, I have one
I don't
like
Speedy Gonzalez.
semi-racist joke for you. It's not actually
Nice.
racist.
You lost me at semi,
Oh.
but got me back at racist.
All right. What do you call a cholo walking through the park with one leg shorter than the other?
Like hobble, cholo, hobble.
Not even. I feel bad, but that's funny. I don't feel bad about cholos. I feel bad about making fun of people with legs of different lengths.
Yeah, because it causes back problems.
It's ableist.
So is that because you partly identify?
I should have said he's wearing one platform shoe.
And one chancla.
Chancla? Wearing one chancla and one platform shoe. Because
One
also
of
that's
his-
just like a much more ridiculous setup.
Yeah, one of his shell top Adidas is much taller than the other. You
Remember
should
when
have seen
girls used to wear those-
Phil's face as soon as you said, "There's a cholo walking through a park."
I know. Not even.
Not even.
I love it.
Okay, there's this joke that's a very easy, straightforward joke. It's very easy to understand. What do you call four Mexicans in quicksand?
Oh, yeah.
Cuatro Cinco. Would you consider that joke racist? Because it's not
It seems
other than them being.
racist because it points out that they're Mexicans. And
Is there a term that's less offensive than Mexican?
no, I'm saying like because it's specific. It's not about because then it's not about
Yes.
the language. It's about
There are
the
four
people
Hispanic
If
people.
you're like there are four Spanish speakers.
Spanish speaking
Yeah, why don't you
gentlemen.
say Spaniards?
Yeah.
There are four Spaniards.
Because the way that I've heard it is four Mexicans in a boat with a hole in it or something.
I guess that's like
If you say Spaniards, then don't you have to say Cuatro Cinco?
a Cuatro Cinco.
There are four Castilians
There-
in quicksand.
The fact that it's kind of less funny as four Spaniards than four Mexicans actually highlights that it is racist.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I won't tell that joke anymore.
Also, Cinco
Cuatro
is 5, so it wouldn't be. You wouldn't call it Cuatro Cinco. You would call it Cuatro, whatever the verb for sink is.
That's a good point.
Oh man, that
Also-
joke isn't even funny anymore now that I know it's not totally accurate, Aaron.
Also, I
With
think
beer.
part of it is this ethnic group, whoever they are, that harm is befalling them.
You would say Cuatro Sumidero.
You can't you can't
That's what
look
you
it up
should
if
do.
you don't know
That's what
it.
you should- No, I'm saying this is
Yeah,
what
that
you-
is a
this
good
how
joke
you should tell
because
the
the
joke
because
now.
the punchline's so obvious. And it would actually the reason I thought of it is because we started
There you go.
like in our morning meetings. You know, our whole group meets together every morning now remotely, and there's like 40 people in there. And my boss was like, "We should start having people tell a joke."
Oh.
And yeah, that was kind of my initial reaction. But
So
if I
What do you
told
call
that
four
like
Mexicans
half the people in the group
quicksand?
speak Spanish,
a national tragedy.
There's like 5 native.
That's a good joke.
No,
Do you just not even notice it when other people are talking, Aaron?
he doesn't. He doesn't notice it.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I apologize.
So, 40 people in the meeting. Some of them
No,
are
that's all.
Mexicans.
They would think that's
A
funny
lot of
because like
them.
half of them speak Spanish.
I think the way the joke should be told now is you should say, what do you call 4 Mexicans in quicksand? And then when they chuckle and say cuatro cinco, then you say, how do you say it, Aaron?
Cuatro sumidero.
Cincadero?
Cincadero.
Cincadero? That's more racist now. I like it.
Sumidero.
Sumidero. So then you say, no, cuatro sumidero, you racist.
Yeah, that's true.
And there you go. Now you've got a better joke.
Cole, I'm sorry.
You should be sorry to Phil for doing this for 200 and whatever episodes. 200 episodes? No, 100 and something. And also me
coming up.
often.
We're coming up on 200 pretty soon.
This is 198.
Oh, word?
For 200, we should just take a break.
Indefinitely.
Skip it. Indefinitely.
Yeah,
I've been on a 199.
I've been waiting for someone to ask to bring this up, actually.
199? Are you out of your mind? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was awesome, dude. Denny's
Is that what
Grand
that was?
Slam breakfast
Yeah.
for $1.99.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy.
As a kid, I think I didn't really understand that, like how good of a deal that was.
Yeah. I think when I was in high school and they had 29-cent hamburger days at McDonald's, I did understand how good of a deal that was.
Yeah. Dude, there's this place in the town I grew up called Hamburger Stand. Well, it's actually called
That's
called
just
the
what
original
people called
Hamburger
it.
Stand. That's the name of it. But it's basically like a Wiener Schnitzel, but with more hamburger options.
I'm listening.
It's weird. But they used to have 25-cent hamburgers all the time.
Do they do the thing where you can get a hamburger and then you can get a hot dog that's like
Split open. Hot dog
On
way.
the
Hot
hamburger?
dog way. Hot dog
I
style.
don't think so.
that's my favorite thing to do at cookouts where
Yeah.
they've got
Oh, they
crappy
got
Barbecues?
where they got crappy hamburgers and crappy hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do.
It's like I want to eat some meat, but beef, it's like too obvious what actual meat it is.
Yeah.
I want to have some more
hamburger.
ambiguous meat mixed in there with it.
Ambiguous meat.
Ambiguous meat is a pretty good band name or porn star name. One of the two. Ambiguous.
Maybe like
Or just a movie.
Maybe wait.
a superhero.
No, it's
Okay.
the bit
So,
in a
you know,
porn.
you guys have heard people taking the piss out of Spider-Man 2, having a laugh at its expense.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen it in probably 15 years, And
Is
I
that
always,
the one with Venom?
No,
No.
that's 3, and I've heard people hate that one more.
Yeah.
that may be
That's the one that
possible, but
yeah.
2, holy crap. We watched it.
Is 2 Sandman?
No, 2
No, that's
is
3.
That's also
Doctor
3.
Dr. Octavius.
Okay.
And it's like
I thought you
super.
liked that one.
I'd like to hear people's opinions of it now because in watching it, it's like very campy. So like the scene. So what happens? Okay, guys, Spider-Man 2 spoilers coming up. So I apologize ahead of time.
Okay.
Spider-Man wins. Bad guy loses.
Wait.
It's like the whole
Spoilers coming up. So please fast forward.
the whole premise of it.
Timestamp.
Yeah, we'll put a timestamp in the
Later.
show notes for sure.
Yeah.
The whole premise, he has these big limbs, and in the story, the purpose of it is so he can handle this material while it's undergoing fusion and whatnot. And that's not going to sound great, Phil. And then, of course, like it actually fuses into his spine, and then he points out this little fragile piece at the top. This is the inhibitor chip. This is what keeps the AI and the limbs from overtaking my own brain. And he like points at it. See, everyone, see this little fragile. It looks, the whole thing is made of like this metal that isn't affected by heat, and then this is like made of glass. This little piece at the top, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And so the scene where like the
like
fusion,
the Death Star's butthole.
exactly. And I even said that. Like, why do they always, you know, just don't make a weak point? Like that's, you know, it's that easy.
Just make it good.
Like, why didn't you surround the inhibitor chip with the same metal you built the limbs out of, you dummy? And so the fusion thing goes wrong. His wife dies, which
purposes, obviously.
He really like. So your wife dies, big deal, you know? Like, come on. And then there's this scene where these doctors are trying to remove the limbs from his back, and the limbs like wake up and, you know, autonomously kill them all. And it's like kind of gruesome, but the whole thing is shot. It's like very low lighting with like tons of silhouettes, and it felt like some 70s or 80s kind of horror movie, you know, where it would be like it's like showing someone's silhouette, and the thing comes in and jams down their throat or whatever. Almost like it kind of reminded me of like Rocky Horror Picture Little Shop of Horrors, you know. And it made me wonder, do people actually look back on that fondly? Was that like an intentional thing that people enjoy because it's really campy? Or do people... Because it's also like kind of poorly done, even in that style. So viewers, write in. Tell us your thoughts on Spider-Man 2.
Was that one directed by Sam Raimi too?
No, Sam Raimi 1.
Was that also directed by Sam Raimi?
I don't know.
I believe so.
Oh yeah, directed by Sam Raimi, because he is kind of like known for that campy thing.
And there was like a lot of, and like when when his wife dies, he does the no, and you know, so it was actually like kind of enjoyable on one hand, but then like the plot is just the plot's so dumb.
It was also like a weird time for comic book movies back then, because like that and the Tim Burton Batman movies kind of were earlier, but they were still trying to make them feel like comic books.
Yeah, totally.
Whereas now it's like if you watch a Marvel movie, it doesn't feel
like Sin City was like
the book.
Sin City was like the
yeah, that was like the culmination of that.
Yeah.
But now they're just like action blockbusters. So I think
not culmination in like from a quality standpoint, but from a style standpoint.
Right. Yeah. Like that took it to the
and it even
extreme.
And it like reminded me, like, does every superhero movie have to have some choice where like, you know, like Endgame had 3 of them where it's like you can either choose to save the world or you can choose to save this person that you love.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it had one of those. It was like a subway full of people or save Mary Jane. And it's like, ain't nobody on that subway look like Kirsten Dunst, so I'm going to save Mary Jane. Thank you very much. Plus, like,
dude,
I don't know if this is like an early 2000s thing.
When you were a kid.
What's that?
How big of a crush did you have on Kirsten Dunst when you were a kid?
I mean, I don't know about when I was a kid, but certainly in
like a youngster.
In this era, because she was not fully supported for much of this movie.
Yeah.
She did not win Best Supporting Actress or Best Supported Actress, if you know what I'm talking about.
I don't. Oh, now I do, and I feel awkward.
Yeah. Which is fine, but it's an interesting choice. Because it isn't really the style of the time, you know.
Is this the one with the upside down kiss?
Yep.
That's one.
No, that's one, yes. We watched both of them in quick succession. But, yeah.
This episode is brought to you by the Sinusoid Custom Shop. Sinusoid Custom Shop is capable of doing pretty much whatever you want for your cables. They can make cool like tech flex combinations. They can make right angle on one end and a noiseless jack on the other end. They can do pretty much whatever you want. They got their speaker cables in there. They also have a really cool builder. You go on the website. You can design whatever you want. If you want a snake to put all your stuff in a loom together, you can do that there. If you want something wild out of the box, send them an email. They can do it. They do all kinds of crazy stuff all the time. And if you join our Patreon, you get a special discount for anything you buy from Sinusoid, including the custom shop. So tell them we sent you. You won't regret it. Sinusoid.com.
You guys, the first good comic book movie. Are you ready?
X-Men?
I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
Spider or Superman? It was like some
first good
from back in the
comic
40s or something.
Blade. You're welcome. It's Blade.
Oh, it's not Superman.
No. Superman sucks.
Superman doesn't suck. That movie's great.
Which one?
Just the original, the first one. What's his name?
Christopher Reeve?
Christopher
Reeves?
Reeve. Yeah, the Christopher Reeve one. It's a great movie.
I think it sucks.
I never watched
suck.
Smallville. Was that good? Did you
It
guys
was
ever?
alright.
Did you guys ever play Superman on the Nintendo 64? Because
No.
that is one of the worst games of all time.
You guys remember Kirsten Dunstan checks in?
What? No. I don't know what you're talking
I'm
about.
just kidding. You remember the movie Dunstan checks
Yeah,
in?
No.
about a.
Oh, you don't?
It was about a monkey that stays at a
It's a
hotel.
movie about a chimp that lives in a hotel.
It's basically like the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, but with a chimpanzee.
With a monkey.
So here's the thing. Kirsten Dunst
Kirsten
was born in
Dunst.
1982.
Oh yeah, so
I was
she's only
also
a
born in
year.
1982. So I kind of like grew up with her in movies.
Okay, wait.
I remember having a big crush on her in Jumanji. When
Okay.
we were both,
Oh
like,
yeah,
11 or
okay.
12.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember you having a big crush
Aaron.
on her.
Aaron, stop looking at your screen. And don't answer if you already saw it. What was her breakthrough role?
The first thing I know that she was in is Interview with the Vampire, but
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
That's Tom
Good job
Cruise,
reading
right? Or
it out.
I
Brad
didn't
Pitt?
see that.
IMDb
I didn't
right
read
now.
that. I just knew that. I didn't see that until much later, though. I saw that like maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Is it Brad Pitt?
First time.
Brad
Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Tom Cruise. That's
Yeah.
quite the cast.
Yes.
Brad Pitt wasn't Brad Pitt.
Yeah, well, that kind of
Yeah.
made him Brad
It
Pitt,
was-
didn't it?
Yes, it really was. Tom Cruise was obviously famous.
I mean, he was known from because Thelma and Louise. He kind of got some juice, but it wasn't like
But he wasn't like
he wasn't like a leading man back then.
or like a heartthrob. Maybe he was, but
He was a heartthrob. People
yeah, that's
was.
true.
He was
went
because
crazy
he-
over him from Thelma and Louise because he was super high in that.
but
Super hot and everything.
According to some, he was very attractive.
He has that
After-
jawline. That's why they always have him eat in Ocean's 11 because
No,
it's
'cause
like
he did this thing where he was like sitting in the back of the car, all ripped, with no shirt and his jeans kind of low, wearing a cowboy hat.
Was it
Some
showing off?
people-
Was
I'm
it
not
showing
saying
off those
who,
weird
some
muscles,
people-
like his
Some
hip?
people thought that was attractive.
Those muscles that people have like on their hips.
Yeah, he's
So
got
then
the
they wear
whole
their
ravine-
jeans really
the
low,
whole
so it like
ravine
shows
going
the
there.
V
yeah,
there.
that V,
Yeah.
that V
on
shape.
on a below deck.
I don't
they
have
call
one of
that
those.
The penis ravine
What?
because it leads right down to the
The Peen Ravine.
the peen ravine.
Okay, so he was after Thelma and Louise, before Interviewing with the Vampire. He was in Legends of the Fall,
Oh,
that
yeah.
okay.
and most people would call that his. I mean, you're right. Thelma and Louise was everybody going, "Ooh, who is that guy?" But
yes. And
then
they're like,
Legends of the Fall
oh,
was like,
Dude, that's
the
like a
guy.
lot of good movies.
Legends of the Fall kind of sucks.
I don't remember.
To be honest.
I don't even remember it, but isn't it like well regarded or not?
I would say it is, isn't it? I don't know. If
I
it
think
holds up,
it's.
but,
I
like,
think it's like well.
What's the difference
Yeah,
between
maybe.
Legends of the Fall and Last of the Mohicans?
Everything.
A lot. But the difference between Last of the
That doesn't help
Mohicans and
Well, Last of the Mohicans is kind of like it's like a war movie basically. Legends of
Yeah.
the Fall is like a romantic drama.
but yes, but it has
Is it-
moments of war,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of like
It's about 3 brothers and like this one woman that they kind of all fall in love with at different times or something,
ooh,
as I remember it.
yes, and then she goes crazy.
Remember in Rudy when he comes home and his brother is married to his girlfriend?
Yeah, dude.
There's a lot of that in Legends of the
Freaking
Fall.
screwed up. It's like, how are you going to steal this dude's, like, look at him. He's
Because they
a
don't
freaking
even tell you. You don't even
runt.
know. You just like come home. Oh, hey,
messed
by
up.
the way, I married your brother.
And he's like, well, now I'm going to play for Notre Dame even harder.
So
Now I really hate you guys.
Yeah.
who's Aaron? What's the name of the actor in Always Sunny who got ripped?
Rob McElhenney.
Yes. Okay, so I heard on a
McElhaney.
podcast. He said that
McElhaney.
I heard on a podcast. He said that when he came up with the idea and he like tracked down like, he went and found some celebrity personal trainer, and the guy goes, okay, well, so before we really get into this, we need to start out with what are your goals? And he's like, well, I mean, he goes, do you have somebody in mind? And he's like, yes, I do have somebody in mind. He goes, let me guess. And he goes, okay. And the guy goes, Brad Pitt from Fight Club. And he goes, how'd you know? And he goes, 'cause that's what every guy says. I want to look like Brad Pitt from Fight Club. But here's the thing.
I want to look like Brad Pitt from Snatch.
And then he goes, but here's the thing. We're going to put a lot of work in. You're never going to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. And he goes, why not? And he goes, because you're not Brad Pitt.
Right. You'll look like your version of him.
Yeah.
That's true. That is a good point.
You still won't be, because there's part of it that is he's
Brad Pitt. Yeah. Dude, did you see when Kumail posted all his pics when he got ripped?
That was freaking awesome.
But he's like big too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like very muscular.
Yeah, it wasn't just lean. He like got like.
Yeah, he's jacked. And then he posted about like body image and like how impossible basically it is for any normal person to get that way, because like you can't do that and have a job.
That's what Rob McElhaney says.
Literally working out is your career at that point.
He's
has to be.
Because people ask him like, oh, why can't I be like that? And it's like, well, all you need to do is work out for 6 hours a day and have like professional chefs make all of your food for you. And
exactly.
And he said like sleep was he said he was sleeping like 10 hours a night or something crazy.
Oh wow. Huh. Just to rebuild the energy,
I guess. Yeah.
Did you see Kumail? I think it was Jimmy. Was it Jimmy Kimmel or
Jimmy Kumail?
No, it seems like it was. I'm not sure which of the late night shows it was.
Jimmy Chameleon.
It was Chameleon. It was right after he had finished the movie, and they like lowered from the ceiling a bunch of desserts. And he kind of lost his mind. Like he goes, I'm crying, and they're like, they go, here, we heard that, so you can eat all this, and I don't know how much of a setup there was, but he seemed.
Yeah, like genuinely emotional.
Yes. It was like there's cheesecake and donuts and all these things, and he was like completely overwhelmed.
Well, they interviewed Kate. Oh, crap. I forgot her last name. That is married to Rob McElhaney.
Oh, Olsen.
Olsen?
Yes.
Yeah, Caitlin Olsen.
And she was like... Because people ask her like which one she prefers, and she's like, "Oh, Fat Rob is so much better. Like he's happier, he's fun to be around. Yeah. He like, it's like would like, I don't know. Part of it is like the pressure of knowing that like everything, you know what I'm saying? Like it's important to be able to like leave your work at home,
right?
Or like, and to know that like everything you consume is affecting your actual job or whatever that you're trying to do.
Totally, it's probably like having an infant where it's like you've got this like crazy schedule and you're like, crap, no, we can't do that, we have to take him home and put him in.
Yeah, like dictates everything about your life.
Yes, exactly. It's like, oh no, sorry, it's nap time.
Or, like, yeah, I can go out to eat, but I'm gonna bring a Tupperware with like 3 chicken breasts, like unseasoned chicken breasts with me instead.
Yes. And a sprinkle of brown rice and
exactly, and then just a whole bunch of
Total Recall chicken.
Total Recall chicken.
Yeah, it had 3 breasts.
I was gonna say I haven't seen Total Recall in so long that I probably don't get the reference, but that is the one Total Recall reference I'll still get. 10 times out of 10.
Did you watch the Colin Farrell one?
No, was it good?
I never saw it either.
I don't know anybody who said. Actually, I don't know if I know anybody who saw it.
I don't know anyone who said, "I'm so glad that happened."
Yeah, like that's a thing that needed to exist. What are some movies that okay, first of all, do you guys remember Far and Away?
Of course.
I remember loving that movie when I was a kid for some reason. Yeah, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, wasn't it?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yes.
Is that who the leading lady is, Phil?
That is who the lead
And who's the
lady
dad?
Yep.
He's like a very
is. I don't
famous
remember.
actor as well.
Aaron, you should totally see that movie.
It's good.
good?
It's like it's set in like the early.
Australia, right?
No, it's set in the U.S. when people are like. No, you're thinking of Quigley Down Under. Also, a very good movie.
I think I'm just thinking because she was Australian.
No,
And
it's
she
set.
was in a movie called Australia, I believe, but that was not starring.
No, that was much later though.
It's set
Right.
when like in early America when they were just like giving land away to people essentially.
Taking it from Indians. Oh, but like, it was like they're Irish, right?
Oh, they're Irish.
Yes, they are Irish. Yeah, you're right.
They're Irish immigrants.
Irish.
And they like boxing for some reason.
When
Like-
Irish eyes are
And
smiling.
yeah, they like drinking alcohol.
They're Irish pugilists.
Yes.
So wait, let me get this straight. They're
Sidebar, Phil.
Immigrants.
I don't know what that word means. Don't tell Aaron.
they're immigrants from Ireland, and they like to drink and punch each other and steal other people's land.
Sick.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, how do you... Can you imagine, like, stealing land at this point? How would you even steal land? Now,
Yeah.
like now.
Yeah.
Like in 2020.
Like you have to go to the bank. Like you break into a bank and steal the note or something.
yeah, you
No,
literally
you-
have to, like...
You find an area that is not populated. You put a fence up, and you build a house. And then when somebody comes along and
Squatters'
goes, "Hey,
rights.
this is mine," you go, "No, I don't think so. This is mine. Look at my house. I've been here for a while now." That's how you do
Yeah,
it.
but you
guess
wouldn't
that
be able to get away with it. They'd just be like, well... I mean, first of all...
The crazy
you
thing
didn't
is,
have
in
permits
some
to
ways,
build that,
in some
so-
ways, that's even easier now because if you have legitimate squatters in a place that you own, it's actually hard to get them out legally.
Yeah, exactly, Aaron.
But, like, I guess stealing, like, a house, but I'm talking about, like, land, like...
Yeah, just
Raw
like
land.
this, yeah, like these 10 acres of land.
Raw land. Well, yeah. Does the squatters' rights? Do all those rules apply?
I guess they might.
I don't know because I think the whole like point of squatters' rights is that I don't know
I
because
think
like
that's
there's
mostly to protect people from eviction.
yeah, and it's like it's a shelter that they have.
Like if
Or,
a
like,
homeless
that's just
person
land.
just came into your house and like went in your bedroom, you could call the cops and have them removed.
Whatever, dude. I freaking blow their brains out.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, dude.
Dude, wouldn't that be so great if someone broke into your house? You could justifiably shoot them with a gun.
I'm just waiting for someone to even look at my toilet paper, and I'm gonna shoot them right in the wiener.
Dude, how little supply of toilet paper do people run on? Do you guys buy toilet paper like every 3 days or something? Do you guys like buy it by the
Like,
roll?
Who are these people buying one roll at a time?
Why do you guys live so close to the edge? Do they also just like
I
fill?
gotta poop. I better go buy some paper.
They fill their gas tank up to like a quarter of a tank and that's it. Like, why should I? I don't need more gas than that.
I know.
I'm just
I
driving
buy,
to
like,
work.
48 rolls at a time.
Yeah. And I don't use 48 at a time.
No. I gotta poop now.
That's not normal.
Well,
Yeah.
we're back. Back from poop.
It was like an hour. What were you doing in there? Was all that Kirsten Dunst talk?
I was watching Far and Away.
It is. I mean, now it's not that weird for movies to be long, but I believe it was it's like 95 or something.
92.
92, yeah. And it
it's
was a
like-
long
It's like 3 hours or something.
2 hours and 20 minutes, which is funny that it felt that long at the time when 2 hours and 20 minutes isn't that long by today's standards.
Right.
But yes, it
Now
was a
that-
very
Yeah, now
long movie.
there's like action movies that are that long.
There's
How
like
long
comedies
was
that are that long.
Endgame?
Okay, so Far
Like
and
3
Away,
hours, I think.
Is it
Far and
that
Away,
long?
Dances with Wolves. Those were both like early '90s movies that were very long.
3
and
hours,
everybody's
30
like,
minutes. Dang.
oh, I can't believe how long it is. Bleh.
Yeah.
But now it's like Star Wars. Was,
Can't believe this is so. People complain that it's not long enough. Like you didn't get your money's worth.
Yeah, right.
As if like
All-
I need to
like
fill
Star
as many
Wars.
hours.
All the Marvel ones.
How right was I, Aaron?
It's
About-
3 hours and 2 minutes. You were very close.
What it was
Endgame.
3 hours and 2 minutes. Endgame was.
Yeah. How long
And-
is... What's the one?
Dude, if you had a movie just called N Game, like the letter N dash game, that would be, you'd get a lot of runoff PR from Avengers Endgame.
I wonder, like, if anybody wants us trying to watch Endgame and they accidentally watch Ender's Game.
Did you guys? I don't even remember if I saw Ender's Game.
I didn't.
Those books are amazing.
I had a friend who was really into those books, but I never read them. My wife read them.
I just listened to the audiobooks, but the audiobooks are actually really good. Some of the best.
I have a hard time reading like sci-fi or fantasy or whatever.
Me too.
I have a hard time caring about it.
This is an exception.
You know what? We need to come
original.
Yeah, we need to come original. We need to have a definitive answer between the three of us.
Okay.
If you listen to an audio book, should you use the word "I read it"?
Yeah, because anyone who would disagree with you is a douchebag. Because anyone who would say no, you didn't really read it because you didn't suffer like I did.
Yeah,
you didn't have to
say that you read it.
Because you actually were able to enjoy your life while you were reading it, and I had to just sit here like an idiot looking at a bunch
Especially
of
if someone asks you, like, oh, have you read this? And you say yes. I think that's perfectly reasonable.
I like to say I consumed it.
Oh, because you're a douchebag?
Well, I didn't. I just don't want people to be upset at me for using the word read.
I'm going to use that, and then when they're upset with me, I'll just shoot them in the wiener.
Take their toilet paper.
Your toilet paper is mine. I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now.
And your land. And your land. Give me your land while you're at it.
I saw that conversation happening.
Apply to toilet paper.
But it really is like such an arrogant, like, oh, you didn't read it the same way I did. You didn't have to suffer the same way I did. Well, like, it's such a, like, gatekeeping whether or not you read a book is such a silly thing.
I think it's weird to care about. I also think for like a lot of books, for me, I would rather read them than listen to them in terms of like enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like I get more out of it if I read it than if I listen to it, but I don't think it matters.
Aaron, you're part of the problem.
Part of it is like
well, it depends on the book.
If you guys know what it's like,
listen to.
If you guys know what it's like to have like severe ADHD, like just sitting down and reading a book while nothing else is going on, just like isn't an option.
Yeah,
like that's not
Aaron.
That's not feasible for me. You're the one who was saying that, Phil.
No, I never said that. I never said that I agree with those people.
Oh, okay.
I said, but early
those
on,
people
like,
exist. You just try and placate those people
in their ableism.
Yeah, why are you so worried about what those bigots think, Phil? Those boogits.
Boogits.
Remember Book It?
You guys remember Book It, dude?
Book It?
Oh, man, I could go for a personal pan pizza right now, dude.
That was the best, dude.
Yeah. I still have one of my pins from Book It. I found it
I don't
recently.
know what book it is.
Dude, Book It was this program where you would read books in school, and if you got enough points at the end of the program, no, you had to physically look at them. At the end of the program, you got to go to Pizza Hut and get a personal pan pizza.
So you had a pin.
You got to help make it.
So you had a pin, or at least in our incarnation of it, like this big old, pin. That's the right word for it, right?
Yeah, like a button pin.
Like a button. Yeah, exactly.
And call it a pin.
And then it had 5 stars on it, and you got a star for every book you read or whatever. And then you'd go to Pizza Hut. Or maybe you'd go to Pizza Hut with a certificate or whatever, like your receipt for reading your book, and then they would give you the sticker to put on your pin.
Yeah,
but either way, it was...
I can't remember how it worked, but I do remember going to Pizza Hut. I remember one time it was like... But it wasn't like going to Pizza Hut alone or like with your family. It was like a trip. Like a school trip.
I think that wasn't like necessarily officially a part of the program. That was probably just something your school organized.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember getting to help make the pizza either.
Oh, we got to go in the back and like watch it go through the oven.
Sounds like such a bad idea.
It was
It's like,
the
here,
90s,
kids, you
though.
want to touch some of these pizzas?
It was a different world.
I know, dude.
That was probably 30 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like early. And I also remember like doing that way too late, you know. I was like in junior high and it's still like, give me my freaking personal pizza. They're like, did you drive here?
Dude, the Target in my hometown has a Pizza Hut inside it, but it's not a full one. They just sell personal pan pizzas and breadsticks, which is all you need.
Yeah.
That is
It's like hot and ready.
So good.
It's like mini hot and ready.
Yep. I think now they sell the pastas too, which like I'm not down with Pizza Hut pasta. I'm sorry. No thanks.
Okay. So speaking of mini hot and ready, have you guys do you guys remember that Phantom of the Opera movie that came out?
Yeah.
Like
With
10 or
Gerard
15
Butler?
years ago? Yeah, and Minnie Driver.
Mm-hmm.
And what's her face?
Her name is Emmy Rossum.
Yeah. That's like a really good movie.
I like it.
We just watched it the other night. We've been watching a movie every night because I don't know if you guys heard, but there's this thing going around. There's a bit of a bug going around, so we're trying to stay home as
Bit of
much as
a bug?
possible. And
Did you guys watch Onward?
look onward?
Did you watch it?
No, which
Dude,
one
you
is it?
gotta- It's the new Pixar one.
Oh, is it on Disney Plus or something?
It's on. I think you have to buy it on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Or
okay.
Amazon, not Prime. Sorry, on Amazon. But I think it's coming to Disney Plus relatively soon. But dude,
Is it good?
I watched it last night. It's freaking good.
Dude, every
And I
Pixar
don't
movie is good.
Watch Pixar movies.
Why not?
Wait, how did you watch it last night?
Bought
you
it on
pay
Amazon.
money for a movie?
No, so my brother-in-law bought it so that his wife and child could watch it, and so I signed into his account and watched it with him last night. Because now it's just digital; they own the rights to it to watch it whenever they
Yes,
want.
I understand. I don't.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it.
Did you have to like notify them that more than one person was going to be watching it?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember in
Charge
the
tickets.
in the early days of Xbox One when they were still marketing it? Maybe I don't know why anyone would remember this, but when the Kinect, remember when the Kinect was actually a thing that they were like pushing, and every Xbox One was going to come with one? They were actually going to limit. They were going to use the Kinect to see how many people were in the room to like charge you for movies, to like limit how many people could physically be watching a movie.
That's insane.
It's insane that they actually brought that up like pre-release, like as a marketing piece, and they obviously
Like, I
had to
get
step
it.
that back.
If it's like, I don't even know. Like, you're not allowed to broadcast it like in a room of like 50 people or whatever. But
Yeah, exactly. But like if
in
it's
your house.
you know, people come over to watch the fights or something like that, like yeah, it's pretty.
I know,
insane.
like iTunes, is it iTunes movies, maybe like Apple movies, something like the program won't work if you're like going HDMI out or something. Like, it's weird.
Well, it's because
Like
it's because of like HDCP protection. So like if the display you have doesn't support HDCP, then it won't stream it because like it could be recorded or broadcast or something like that.
Yeah, but it sucks if you're like just trying to watch it on a bigger screen or something.
Yeah, and Apple's crazy about it, even with their laptops. Most laptops will only, like Windows will just check for an HDCP compliant display if you're displaying something protected, and it will just encrypt that piece, but Apple will just encrypt everything.
Freaking Apple.
I know.
An apple a day keeps the pirates away.
So what other movies? We also watched Dumb and Dumber, which
Oh, nice.
it's so dumb because the DVD we have is the unrated version, which is like it's just added. It just added enough extra stuff that makes it awkward to watch with your 8 and 11-year-old sons, you know?
Oh, really? I don't think I've ever seen that version.
Yeah, it sucks. And it's like all the stuff they added was just stuff that they cut, like meaning
it's
like
just, like,
stuff that was
deleted
unnecessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there was a little bit more sea bass, like the sea bass scene runs longer, which is kind of funny.
Oh, nice.
I never knew that was a professional hockey player.
Sea bass?
Yeah. I can't remember his name now, but he's an actual like NHL player.
Dude, that movie's so good. I like the scene where they're like
so good.
in the van and he's like, look how fast I can run. Or something. It feels like I'm running at
an incredible rate, Harry. And it's honestly crazy how I must have watched that movie 200 times in my life, because I basically have the whole thing memorized. So every little piece that they added back in, I was like, oh, they added that back in. And they added that back in.
Oh, yeah, you just know.
And when that scene starts, when he's doing the running thing, I started doing that like a second before it even cut to that part. And Lacey just like shook her head.
Dude, when I was in high school, I took a speech and drama class, which I didn't really want to take, but I took it because my good friend was taking it. And we had to do like a 2-person scene from a movie, and we did that scene.
Nice.
From Dumb and Dumb.
Wait, which scene?
The scene in the van where he's does that. I feel like I'm running at an incredible rate. Because I forget what else.
He's like, we're only out of stuff at that time. We're barely out of Rhode Island, and you're already driving me crazy, or something like that.
Yeah, and he's like,
and that's when he talks about how he sold.
He didn't have a head.
Yeah,
he
sold some stuff.
Birth to a blind kid.
$1 billion 4C. Blind kid.
Pretty bird.
Harry, I took care of it.
Yep, I was Lloyd.
That's like such a great when it shows Mary and her mom watching TV later on, and it's like, next on Dateline, a man sells a dead bird to a blind kid, and they're like, she's like, who are these sick people? Yeah, that movie, and both my kids afterwards are like, that's my new favorite movie. And I shed a tear of joy.
I love that movie. I still love that movie. But
what other movies? I was going to watch Scott Pilgrim with him, but that got vetoed because of language. We looked up the parents' guide on it.
Yeah, that might be a little old for them.
Oh my gosh, that movie's so.
They would like it though. It is like for a kid. Like, I was talking about Scott Pilgrim, and that when I first saw it, it was kind of oversold to me. So that when I actually watched it, I enjoyed it, but it didn't like blow my mind like everyone said it would, you know?
I remember it being very much about like relationship angst though. Like,
yeah, that's
probably
like it has kind of this video game veneer, and you know, he's in a band and stuff, but it's mostly about like, that's the whole premise of the movie is like his exes coming back and trying to beat up his
her
girlfriend.
Evil exes, right?
It's her evil exes.
Oh yes.
Fight.
Yeah.
That's
to
right.
Court her.
To win her heart. What a load of crap.
Yeah, because violence never answered anything, except in wars.
Except in every war. I saw this thing about like someone said women shouldn't be president. A woman shouldn't be president because she might be too emotional and like start a war or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, who has started every war ever? Every war in history has been started by a man.
And also, like, really, you're worried about a president who's like too erratic and irrational and flighty?
At this point, yeah.
Like,
come on,
really? That's what we're worried about?
Preach it. Preach to me about that.
So, guys, how much longer do we have on this episode? Do we have time?
I was like, why are you done? We got plenty of time.
Do we have time for a little game?
We're like 40 minutes in. Let's do it.
Game? Please say it's a Judge Judy game.
Well, now you're just going to be disappointed.
I'd like to welcome you to this week's installment of Judge, Judy, and Executioner.
Yes. Oh, yes!
Okay. So if you remember...
so excited right now.
If you remember how this works, hopefully I can remember how this works.
We have to decide. You have to guess how she judged, right?
Yep. And I'm going to give you the facts of the case. I may skew the facts a little bit. I may share certain piece of information to try and get you to guess wrong. That's my prerogative.
Did they say that in that show? These are the facts of the case, or is that People's Court?
That's People's Court.
All right.
Okay. Case number 1, wrongful eviction. All right. The the landlord, his name is Mr. Stone King, which I thought was worth mentioning because it's kind of a good name for a landlord.
That's like
a great name for a
sounds
landlord.
like a soap opera bad guy.
Yes. So the plaintiff was actually suing the landlord for wrongful eviction and also colluding to get a restraining order to help one of the other tenants. Okay, so here's the best part about this is when the landlord at the beginning of the case explains the living arrangement of this house that he owns. There are 10 different tenants living in this house.
Oh my gosh.
And they live just in like a normal residential neighborhood. And Judge Judy is like, oh man, I bet your neighbors hate you. And apparently they have like the police are coming there all the time. Cause like, I don't know, you pick like, I don't know, someone who's moving into a house with 9 other dudes, like probably, you know, there's chances are they might be down on their luck or whatever. And, so the case starts
Or like
off
20 years old, right?
So what's that?
Or like 20 years old. Like
The plaintiff was clearly in his 60s,
Eee,
had anger problems, and one of the one of the great pieces was
Guys, Phil is working out while we're
Yeah.
recording this.
but doing like
doing,
some
like,
70s
Thigh Master or
70s exercise bands, exercise rubber bands. Dude, you got to stay swole. He's trying to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Yeah, he is. He's doing a great job too.
So the whole case is the fact that the landlord evicted this guy, but part of the reasoning for it was because one of the other tenants had a restraining order against him.
Don't touch your face.
But the guy was claiming, the plaintiff was claiming that the landlord like told the guy to get a restraining order so he could evict him. And at one point, this guy, he felt threatened. That's why he got a restraining order. And at one point he said, he broke a window near me and I'm a hemophiliac. His exact quote, I easily could have bled to death. And I could see like, okay, being a hemophiliac is nothing to joke about, but also like him breaking a window near you, the chances of you bleeding to death are pretty slim, you know?
Yeah, just don't get cut.
Yeah, so he filed a protective order, and yeah, I think those are the facts of the case. So the plaintiff was
the facts of the case.
The plaintiff was suing to get. It was basically like pain and suffering. I mean, it was wrongful eviction, but I don't know what tangible, like what you can actually money wise, what you can sue for. So that's the case. How do you think Judith Scheinlein ruled on that one?
Can we have the name? Is that her real name?
Hey, what's the name of the plaintiff?
I can't remember. He's a big old angry dude.
Stone King versus the Angry Man.
Okay.
Some of the names were kind of funny, but I worried that some of them, like, it might be insensitive of me to just make fun of names just because they're funny, you know?
Yeah. I'm going to say wait, was there a countersuit?
There's always a countersuit, Aaron. But no, actually, this is one of the rare cases where there was I think there was a countersuit because for like having destroyed the window and stuff like that.
But I'm pretty sure she dismissed the countersuit really quickly.
She likes doing that. That's kind of her thing.
Okay. I'm going to say she sided with the plaintiff for his full asking.
His full ass king.
His full ass King Stone.
I think I agree with Aaron.
Well, I rule that you guys are dumb idiots. Stupid faces. Like super early on in the case, it was so great because she was like, well, he's allowed to evict you. Like, he can evict you if he wants to. And you could see the wind kind of go out of the guy's sails. Like, oh crap.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that's true. So anyways, yeah, she dismissed both sides of the case. And yeah, so you guys are both wrong. Okay, let's see here.
It's because you didn't give us all the facts of the case, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's the game. I
And you
respect
gave
it.
us misleading details.
I wrote down notes, and so. Oh, okay. Here's another great one.
Okay.
This one, we have a man buys a house. It's his tale as old as time. Man and house. And
Is he buying the land? The house is on?
no, he seized, like, unlawfully seized the land, and then
He's not allowed to look at it. He unlawfully sees it. Saw it.
he seed the land with his eyes, with his eyeballs.
Okay, so there's this man.
So he
right?
bought-
So he sees this land. Okay?
So
he sees it.
I says to him, he sees the land. I says to him,
I says to him, he sees this land or what? And he's like, oh, I sees it.
Oh, I see.
okay, so this guy buys a house. He sees the house that he wants, and then he buys it. And it already had a tenant living in the basement. And
So that man is his property, right?
that's
If you purchase,
you wouldn't have made that joke if you could see the plaintiff and the defendant in this case. Because it would be okay. So it means it results in them having kind of a weird rental agreement, because it, like, I think the previous rental agreement was kind of null and void, but basically he had a security deposit which, like, changed hands when the house changed hands, but he still had this, like, he had on hand a security deposit that represented their security deposit, you know. So the guy and it's a guy and a girl living in the basement. They have a kid together. The guy also has another kid. If you guys have seen Judge Judy, none of this surprises you.
but how is this relevant, though?
I'm just giving you the facts of the case, Phil.
No, you're not. You're giving it. It's like, what color car do they drive? That's not
Okay,
facts of the case.
because at one point
These are the facts as presented.
At one point, the woman moves out, and then a couple months later, the guy's lease is up, and he asks the guy, like, he doesn't renew the lease. At this point, he's just living by himself. Mm-hmm. But apparently, they had a verbal agreement at one point when the woman moved out to say, like, well, we'll just take care of her stuff. You don't have to worry about it, which doesn't even make sense. The tenant claimed that, like, you told me when my girlfriend moved out, I didn't have to get rid of her stuff, that you'd get rid of it for me. And it's like, that doesn't even make sense. But then the reason the kids are important is because he's showing pictures. The owner is showing pictures of, like, see, this is the kids. He's got, like, a bunch of kid stuff down there. And the guy's trying to claim, like, no, but she took the kid when she moved out. And the girl's, and he's like, yeah, but you also have another kid. And he's like, yeah, that's true, I guess. It's like, dang, my air-clad defense didn't stand up under scrutiny. So basically, he gave half the security deposit. I mean, honestly, this landlord, he's kind of the hero of the story for the time being. He gave half the security deposit to the woman when she moved out, even though I bet legally he didn't have to do that, you know, because I'm assuming the lease they didn't have, like, separate lease agreements for each person.
Right.
And then, so when the guy finally moved out, he left the place a total mess. And so this landlord is suing for the additional cost in addition to the security deposit of fixing the place up. Plot twist, there's a countersuit.
Nice.
The tenant is suing. What do you think for?
For, like, emotional distress.
Because he threw away some of his stuff. You know? Like, you threw away my old
cleaned up,
underwear
that trash I had.
Exactly.
There.
How dare you throw away all my trash?
You threw away my pile of shiz.
So, and the guy had, like, invoices for his time, like, for cleaning up, you know, the services of cleaning up and fixing the apartment and everything like that. And then he has a new tenant now, and things are hunky-dory. So, how do you think the Honorable Judge Judy ruled in this one?
I think she honored
all of us with her presence.
I think she ruled. I'm gonna let Phil take this one first.
Okay, I personally believe that USA Americans. I think she ruled in favor of Mr. Stonehenge, the landlord
Of the previous case, yes.
Oh, okay. This landlord.
But the proverbial Mr. Stone King,
Yes, Stone King. Okay, yes.
the Royal Stone King. You
That should
believe?
just be our new name for landlords. Is just the Stone King.
Oh man, my Stone King's
Dude, my
really
Stone
been
King's
riding me
been a real-
lately.
Piece of work.
That was another. Remember that in Spider-Man 2, the landlord, where's the rent? And he had that like anorexic daughter that had a crush on Peter Parker. You guys remember that part?
I vaguely remember that.
Okay. Where's the rent? And it was like kind of like they keep showing this street performer who's like an Asian woman, but with like a very over the top kind of exaggerated Asian accent. And it's a little bit cringy in 2020. Okay, so you think she ruled in favor that she like reimbursed the amount of the invoices and everything.
That seems logical to me. I think she told the guy who wanted the countersuit for his lost goods to get bent.
Yeah, she did. And yeah, you could tell. Crap, I just forgot his name.
That's ridiculous.
I forgot the bailiff's name. Bird like looked over and it's like, you're not allowed to say get bent. It was like daytime TV over the air. Okay, so this one I knowingly withheld one detail of the case because it is such a great detail and because Judy didn't notice it until very late in the case either. So there were 3 separate invoices for cleaning up the apartment after the man left. 2 of those invoices represented the landlord's time and the landlord's girlfriend's time. They actually wrote up invoices for their own time for having to clean up their own apartment that they're renting out. And she just like, as soon as she realized that, she just like shook her head.
Oh my gosh.
And the guy was like, well, our attorney told us to do this. And she's like, no, your attorney said he wouldn't take your case is what he told you. Like, and yeah. So she actually like reconciled the amount of the security deposit with the one invoice that was legitimate. So you guys get half credit for that one. But the other 2 invoices that were illegitimate, she threw out and then chastised him for. And that was great to watch.
Gun Street Wiring Shop represents a brand new approach to the guitar wiring market. From their nothing is impossible philosophy to their community first attitude, Gun Street Wiring Shop is the premier maker of guitar wiring harnesses. Based in Central Oregon, Gun Street only does one thing: make your guitar sound and play better. Bored with your standard switching? Gun Street. Need more options? Gun Street. Looking to nail that classic tone? Gun Street. You want to try something that's never been done before? Gun Street. Sean's always coming up with new circuit designs. He's always down to make something special to fit your exact needs. So hit him up now, gunstreetwiringshop.com. Turn your SG into an OMG, your Les Paul into a More Paul, your Telecaster into a Telestar Blaster. And as always, members of the street crew get an extra discount at everything at gunstreetwiringshop.com.
Okay, 2 more. It's not a 2 more.
2 more?
Remember the one where
I figure it doesn't always have to be 3s.
with the workout DVDs?
Oh, dude.
It's an all-time classic.
That was so great. And he was suing because
It's like his own family or something.
Yeah, but like they broke into his, like they went in while he was sleeping and did something to him while he was sleeping or something.
I don't remember.
Oh, that was
all
great.
the details,
Yeah, that was a great one. Okay. So this one, this woman is suing her ex-boyfriend, father of her child, for rent, for setting off alarms, which alerted the police, and then, you know, they have to pay a fee for that, like home alarms, stalking, and then also for ambulance fees. Okay, so this woman, they have a kid together. Everything's great.
Everything's great.
This man actually has 6 other children with separate women before he had his 7th child with this woman.
6 different women?
I don't know about 6 different women, but 6 different children with multiple different women.
Multiple women. Oof.
Yeah.
Not a good look.
Not great track record. I'm just going to say, like, if you're looking for stability, maybe not the place to look. So they break up, and he doesn't have anywhere to go. So even after they've broken up, he keeps living in, like, the second bedroom in their apartment for 2 months. And that's one of the things she's suing him for, is because he wasn't paying her rent during those 2 months.
For existing. Oh,
exactly. Okay. Yeah. For just being a deadbeat in general. So he wasn't paying her rent during that time when he was living in what was previously his house, but now they're just broken up. Mm-hmm. He set off the home alarms a couple times. Just that got pretty convoluted, because she was saying, like, he was setting off the alarm to see if I was home, and then if I wasn't home, he was like waiting down the street. He could come in and get all of his stuff out or something. And Judge Judy's like, well, why wouldn't you let him? Like, she's basically admitting that, like, she wasn't letting him get his stuff, and she's like, you're supposed to let him get his stuff. It's always great when people, like, unknowingly admit to doing something illegal, like in court, you know, when they're trying to make their case. And then this is the kicker. This is the big ticket item here. The kid got sick while he was at daycare, and the mom was working, and so she texted the dad, and he went and picked the kid up, took the kid to Instacare, and then from Instacare called an ambulance to come and take the kid to the ER. And she was like, and everyone knows you don't call an ambulance to take someone to the ER. That's way too expensive. Which is like, that's kind of a sad indictment of our medical system in general, for one thing. But, like, she was basically suing him because calling an ambulance to take your kid to the ER is, in her mind, gross negligence, rather than just, like, you just drive your kid there, you know?
Yeah, like, you're just wasting money.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is fair.
Like, it's a fair, but it's like it's fair to have that opinion.
What was wrong with the kid, though?
I don't know. They didn't even go into details on that.
See, that seems important to me, because if it's like a broken leg, you just put them in your car and take them there.
Yeah.
If they, like, need life support on the way, though.
But ultimately, like, that's a judgment call. It's not something that is right or wrong, and certainly not something that's illegal, true. That someone would be like justified to get compensated for it or whatever. Okay. And then there's a countersuit, because you guessed it, she threw some of his stuff away. Yes. And he's pretty broken up about it. Okay, so how do you think Judge Judy ruled in this one?
I think she said no to the ambulance part, no to the alarm part, and yes to the rent part. So she ruled in the favor of the plaintiff for the rent only.
Okay.
And what was the countersuit?
It's for, like, throwing his stuff away or whatever.
And then she also ruled for that, and it offset, and they both got 0.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think this is one of those even Steven things. Or if one was more, then it's just the difference.
Yeah. I agree.
You guys are actually very close, although you're slightly wrong. She dismissed the rent piece because there was never any kind of rental agreement, obviously.
Right.
I mean, and they were, like, let's be honest, they were still sleeping together.
Squatters' rights. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. That's a different kind of squatters' rights.
Yeah.
But she did reimburse, make
alarms.
The alarms, yeah, because there was an actual tangible. It was like $180.
And that's like a legitimately dumb thing to do.
Yeah, it's like dumb and petty and
misuse of the
exactly. Yeah. And she didn't go into that piece, but yeah, it is like there's a certain assumption that like, well, the cops could have been doing something useful instead of responding to your BS. She dismissed the counterclaim for his stuff because he didn't have any like record of it or any, proof that it happened. Okay. One last one. This one's a doozy, so buckle in.
Oh, I love doozies.
Is it like a doozy like Scott Hamilton's?
No, because you'll be able to understand the words that I'm saying.
No, I thought you were saying it's like a Duesenberg.
Oh, like a doozy, yeah.
Doozy.
Like, dude, you'll be
like
worshiping.
It's a Duesenberg Star Player TV or something.
You'll be worshiping like a mother effer.
It's a doozy, like Steve Doozy.
Whoa, dude! If you
Doozies
Google
and don'tsies.
Duesenberg, the first thing that comes up is Duesenberg cars, which are freaking rad.
Don't Google during Judge, Judy, and Executioner, Aaron.
I
Okay.
did.
So this is our last one. We have two adult men.
Nice.
One of them has chosen to keep his motorcycle at the other one's home. It initially started as like a storage, like a long-term storage, or like multiple months. But then
And the other guy agreed to this too. Like they both agreed to this.
yeah, they were fine with it.
Okay.
He wasn't like secretly storing this in someone else's home. But then this is like the weird part, and it must just be because they live too far apart or something. But it got to a point where daily this man was driving his car to the guy's house to pick up his motorcycle, and then driving his motorcycle to work, and then driving his motorcycle back to this guy's house after work, and picking up his car and driving home. And so the only thing I can think of is that he lives so far away that he didn't want to drive the whole distance on a motorcycle. I don't know. That part of it is pretty weird. But okay, so one day the guy comes back. He has a cover on the motorcycle. The guy where he's storing has a big dog, and the dog has chewed on the motorcycle cover and even chewed on the motorcycle a little bit, apparently. Scratched it up. He comes back to pick up his motorcycle and kind of gets upset at the guy saying, hey, your dog is messing up my motorcycle. You got to give me like $50 to, because he did an on-the-spot estimate of what the repair costs would be, and it turned out to be exactly $50, so that was fortuitous. And the guy said, I don't agree with the terms of this. And so guy number one with the motorcycle goes to his car and opens his trunk, gets a lead pipe out of his trunk.
These are white dudes, right?
I'd rather not comment on that.
Okay.
And threatens the man. I'm sure he's very polite about it, but he threatens him with physical harm.
politely threatens. Okay.
But he's there with his car. The man is at his house, right? And the man claims he felt scared because he has kids in the home. And Judy immediately asked, "Were your kids home at the time?" And he said no, which is like, okay, then you don't have like the fact that you have kids that live there is irrelevant.
At home. Yeah.
So the man goes in to his house, runs back out with two large knives, a butcher knife and another like kitchen
so the
knife.
one dude's got a lead pipe, the other dude's got two big knives.
Yeah, apparently the one guy claimed he just showed him the lead pipe and was like, "See, I got this lead pipe. Check out this pipe, bro."
Oh, hold on, I want to show you something real quick,
bro.
This lead pipe.
Check out this pipe I got. I'll trade you this pipe to offset the cost of your dog chewing on my bike.
So I says to him, I
says,
"Look at this lead
bro.
You seize this pipe?"
Yeah.
But guys, viewers at home, if anyone ever asks you if you want to see their lead pipe, just say no. Trust me. So he runs back into his house, gets the knives, comes back out, starts chasing the guy with knives. Which this has got to, this is like starting to verge towards like Looney Tunes or Three Stooges territory. And some of the facts of the case, it's so interesting the things they choose. And because Judge Judy was like, well, did you put the pipe back in your trunk? And he's like, yes, but I didn't close the trunk because I knew the police were coming. I didn't want him to think I was hiding something. It's like, yeah, that would have been their primary concern, is if he closed the trunk. And after the guy chases him around with the knives a little bit, he like slams his bike to the ground. Okay, so the one guy says he forcefully slammed it to the ground. The guy who did it says it might have fallen over in the scuffle, you know. I was running around with 2 knives. You expect me to keep track of where this guy's motorcycle is?
Probably got bumped into or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is what the lawsuit was for. I'll give you some more details. I'm hesitant to give you these details. This is a 13-year-old motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
He paid $4,500 for it.
New?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's suing for $5,000 to fix it.
Wait, why is that funny? It's a classic.
Yeah, because motorcycles go up in value, as any motorcycle owner can tell you.
Everyone knows, like, motorcycles from the mid-'90s are just worth a ton.
Exactly.
Hey, well, you got to fix it, though.
Yeah.
You just buy a new one.
Not for $5,000.
Okay, so that was the case. I think in an unprecedented move, I don't think there was a countersuit in this case.
Yeah, because you're the one with the knives.
Yeah, he got in the way of my knives. I'm going to sue that guy. So he sues for $5,000, which is a great Judge Judy move. You can tell when, like, she's automatically skeptical when somebody sues for because that's the most just you can legally sue for. Yeah. So it's just like lazy, like, oh, I might as well shoot my shot, you know?
Yeah.
So, but you become even more skeptical when you realize it's for a 13-year-old motorcycle that was $4,500 new. So, okay, those are the facts of the case.
Did you know
What's that?
What kind of motorcycle it was? Did they tell you what kind of motorcycle
it was? It was a Suzuki, and the name it was like a GX something.
Okay.
I assume it was what some might refer to as a crotch rocket.
It's like a
bullet bike
500cc kind of thing.
Yeah, but I don't think it was like a street bike. I think it was a bullet bike type. You know, like you're crouched over the engine type thing.
The GC 415. That's a van.
I don't know. It's like an Aerostar, something like that. It's also a van.
All right, so it's like a whatever.
Yeah.
Was it the RX 750?
It might have been.
All right. So anyway, it's like I'm gonna say she gave him.
How much did he pay for it?
I think she ruled in the favor of the owner of the motorcycle.
Okay, he paid $4,500 for it,
but she's not going to give him $5,000.
Okay.
Okay. What do you think, Phil?
But how much did she give him?
Is never going to give him $5,000.
We can probably all agree on that.
Well, I don't know what we can agree on.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm confirming your suspicion.
Probably we can, yeah.
The three of us don't agree on a lot.
But we can agree on that.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, I'll give you a little bit more.
I have no idea.
I'll give you a little bit more detail, which is very funny. Okay, so often Bird, maybe it's funny. Bird is the bailiff. Can't remember, his last name is Bird, and she calls him Bird. He's the guy who makes $1 million a year to stand
Birdman.
there. And yeah, it's the Birdman of Alcatraz. He's rehabilitated himself. She always has him look up stuff like she always says like, does your machine have this one? As if his computer has like a finite number of Blue Book listings, you know? It's like, yeah, it has all of them. When new ones come out, it'll have those ones too. He looks up the value and she says, does your machine have this one? And he's like, yeah, but you're not going to like it. And she's like, wait, I'm not going to like it or he's not going to like it. The freaking blue book on this thing is $6,700.
Jeez.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, I got a good deal." But my other favorite part was, she says, "Does your machine have a 2007 Suzuki blah blah blah?" And the guy interrupts and says, "It's a 2006." And it's like, dude,
That's older, bro.
But I mean, maybe the 2006 was like this weird, because apparently it held its value pretty well, and it was so great because you could tell he was like so pleased with himself, because she was like, "But you only paid $4,500 for it," and he's like, "I got a good deal." And I was like, "Yeah."
I mean, that is like a new one is probably like $12,000.
Probably so, and
it's a 750. So
and like maybe it is like a rare. He said it's rare, which who knows, but like maybe it is like, because once you get below $10,000, it's like if desire goes up a little bit, it can swing it a little bit.
Dude, here's a 2007 for $8,500.
What is it? An RX?
The GSX R750.
GSX. That's what it was. Yeah. Is it like a bullet bike or is it a road bike?
It's a street
bike. I mean, it is
bike, but not a cruiser style.
Okay. It's kind of a
street bike,
kind of aggressive.
Yeah, it's like it's one that you sit on, not in.
Okay.
It's a lean forward kind of what they call a street bike. It's not a cruiser style.
Like a Ducati or something.
Yeah, I mean it's
not like a full.
It's like a typical like.
I don't have enough points of reference.
What they call a crotch rocket.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, it's one of those. Okay. What I'm telling you is that is a street bike.
Okay, I think of like a road bike as like it's like you're sitting up on top of it like some Honda 50 or something like that, like a Harley type of thing.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so any other comments on how you think she ruled?
I think she gave him the full 5,000 then, given that bit of information.
Phil?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, then I'm glad I gave you that piece of information because
we're wrong.
You were actually completely dead on the first time. Because she was like, "Well, I'm going to rule in your favor because this guy obviously damaged your motorcycle." But as everything's like, everything's going back and forth, she's just like, "You can get your bike fixed for $1,500," and bangs the gavel. And the guy's like, "What? I have this estimate right here." And it was almost
probably true. If it's fixable, yes. If it's totaled out,
because one of the big things is that she said, "Okay, what happened to the bike immediately after that?" And he said,
right.
"I drove it to a neighbor's house until I could drive it to the shop." And she was like, "Okay, so how did it get to the shop?" And he said, "Oh, well, I rode it there." And so it's like, well, if it's still drivable, if it's all cosmetic, like obviously it's not $5,000 worth. So that was kind of his undoing, was admitting that. But it was a pretty great, you could tell she didn't want, like by that point she had already driven home the point that like there's no way on earth this motorcycle is worth more than $5,000. So then
that's hilarious. Like, you're not gonna like it.
You could tell she didn't want to go back on it. Oh man.
That's
okay,
good.
But then one of my favorite parts of this case was in the post interviews that they do.
Phil's touching himself now because he turned off his video.
No, my computer was making noises that I didn't.
I'm just kidding.
Oh. So, okay. So then when they're interviewing the guys at the end of the episode, like they do, like they're wont to do, the guy who went and got the pipe out of his trunk in response to having some scratches on his motorcycle, he said, I would never go get knives like that. I was raised differently than that. I would never do something like that.
I would only get a pipe.
I was raised differently. The guy who went and got the knives, it cuts to him saying, "Well, it's not like I went and got a gun or anything."
Wow.
So both of them felt like their actions were fine because
completely
they could have been.
justified.
Yeah, they could have been a lot worse. And that
you don't bring a knife to a pipe fight.
Or you do, apparently.
Or you don't bring a pipe to a knife fight?
You don't bring a pipe to a knife fight. You don't bring a pipe to a motorcycle fight. So that's my submission for this week. I hope you all enjoyed it.
I did. That was good. That was fun.
And I'll post my notes that I took. Cause
Oh no, don't do that.
okay, I won't. But I actually wrote them with a pen and
Yeah,
paper.
I'm just kidding.
I'll have to cross out all the racist stuff I wrote.
It's just gonna be like
I'm making a
government
point of not
things
pointing
all
out.
redacted.
That's part of why yeah. Stone King is an okay name to laugh at. Some of the other names would not be okay to laugh at. That's all.
Like Stone Queen.
Exactly.
Not okay. Not in this climate. Not in any climate.
Speaking of climate, it snowed again last night, so we have a bunch of snow on our grass.
Dude, it's been really cold here lately.
Yeah. And then like the problem with that is we had this earthquake 2 weeks ago that was, Aaron likes to point out how measly it was and how we shouldn't have been scared, but
I don't.
But I was like I was just waking up in the morning, and I'm on the second floor of my house. So, modern houses are meant to sort of sway in an earthquake, especially here. Like we're right in earthquake. Yeah. There's like a ton of earthquakes that happen here. And so all of our homes are built primarily with earthquakes.
Oliver Wendell Holmes.
Yes. Oliver Holmes. Oh, did you guys see that new Oliver Holmes EP? That new Oliver Holmes app came out. And so it totally freaked me out. But then it's still like we got our gas. We saw our gas bill and it was like way up this month. And I was like, yeah, that's probably just because it's cold. But then in the back of your mind, you're like, crap, did something happen? And it's like, well, it would probably be like way higher if there was a gas leak somewhere. But
that's true.
But it was weird because the earthquake happened literally like the first day after they sent us all home from work. And it became like, so life was already very weird at that point. And then we wake up to this pretty serious earthquake for us. I mean, the epicenter was only like 5 miles away from us. So it was also big in that sense,
right.
And we've still been having aftershocks for like a week and a half afterwards. So that's fun, but none of my guitars fell off the wall. So that's the most important piece. My kids are fine too, I guess. And then our hamster died 2 days ago.
Oh no.
We got to go bury him in the rain.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very.
At least you got to do that.
Yeah. Just got to do that, which is nice.
All right. This is a great episode, guys. Thanks for updating us on your life, Cole. Thanks for bringing us the Judge Judy.
You're welcome.
I actually really enjoyed that. Phil, thanks for muting your video.
You still there, Phil?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Everyone else, thanks for friendship. We should say, I'm going to say that we should list some of our friends in the business that we think you should support because a lot of small businesses are having a tough time right now, and you should support them. So go buy some sinusoid stuff, hit up Gun Street Wiring Shop,
and
buy some strings from Gabrielle Tenorio.
We know for some of us times are tough. But, you're probably stuck at home, so you should be playing more guitar.
Yeah.
So you need more guitar things.
You need the new Icarus. Updated Icarus from Caroline Guitar Company. Philippe just announced that yesterday. That thing's freaking cool. Who else do we know making stuff?
Benson.
Yeah, dude, get a Benson. Hit up Leon. Leon.
That might be harder to justify, like a $3,000 amp, but
yeah, but you could buy a Pelotar.
Yeah,
or a half horse.
I'm sure Cower's got a
I know you could do
guitars lying around.
You could buy a Cower, yeah.
Hopefully they're not lying around. Oh, he didn't have.
You could even,
that was
if you're really desperate and you really want to help someone, you could even go to Spruce Effects and help Brian. I guess if you're feeling super, just kidding.
If you just have like so much money, you don't know what to do with it. Or you could check out
find someone doing cool stuff and help support them and help yourself.
Or if you want to support people who are doing uncool stuff, you could join our Patreon.
Join our GD Patreon.
Did you?
And give us your money.
Did you say Pelican?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I wasn't listening.
I know we're missing people, but
yeah, we're missing lots of people.
Sean Ball makes cool guitars.
But honestly, like it is a
wiring harnesses.
Yeah. Like it's natural.
I say find someone that you like doing cool stuff and support them if you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now more than ever.
Speaking of supporting someone, if you can, check this out.
I
We're
said
talking
to him,
about.
I said,
Are we going to talk about Kirsten Dunst again?
No,
ugh.
no. So, in these trying times, my favorite local independent coffee bistro announced that they are going to deliver coffee. Deliver it. Like, pizza and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
Whoa. Just think, like, in a couple years, maybe we'll even get to a point where we can just make coffee in our own homes.
But here's the thing.
I made coffee this morning. I did
did too. But here's the thing. I feel like
Yeah, that was the joke.
I know. I got it.
I want to do it.
Yeah, so do I.
One,
Phil.
I want
That's
to
We
support,
all want to do it. It's like a primary drive. It's a primary human drive.
it's like a very
I
fundamental.
want to support my local business friend, but also because I kind of want to tell when I'm old, I want to tell people instead of like, my grandparents saying, "Oh yeah, and we didn't use butter on Tuesdays or whatever," because of the war. I want to say, "Yeah, I helped out by freaking buying fancy coffee drinks and had them delivered to
Having
my
them
home."
delivered. I lived an even more extravagant lifestyle than I normally do.
I just feel
during-
like having like a cappuccino delivered is kind of like not that great.
It's
It's just the powder,
bougiest
right?
thing you've ever heard.
Are
But
they
it's also going to be like old by the time you get it.
are they delivering like they're delivering like the actual drink, or are they delivering like the
drink.
powder
No,
Powder.
You mean beans?
or the beans?
There's no powder.
Yeah, you grind it up into powder.
I mean,
You
most
grind
of
it
us
up to
most of us
grounds
don't have
whole.
espresso machines in our home.
You don't snort it.
Is that what espresso is? Espresso like a finer grind?
Yes.
I mean,
still
you
call
grind
ground.
it finer to make espresso.
Guys,
yes.
but while I'm talking about it, check out my podcast, A Finer Grind.
Right. Kirsten does.
It's my dancing. It's
I
my-
thought you were when you said powder. I thought you were talking about like in the gas station they have those things called quote unquote cappuccino, but it's just like it's like coffee flavored hot chocolate. Basically,
Yeah.
Oh, right.
it comes in a powder. You just mix it with milk.
So if you buy coffee, you'll buy like ground coffee though, right?
Some people
No.
do, yes.
No, those people are Philistines. You buy
People
whole
like
beans
us,
and you
we
grind it
find whole
yourself.
meat. Yes,
Yeah, but like normal people, not like bougie liberal coastal elites like you guys.
yes. Non-hipsters just buy ground coffee in the store.
Yeah, that
put
seems
it
like
in their
it seems like delivering
coffee maker.
a hot beverage. Like there's a fundamental problem with that, right?
Well,
Yeah, you got to be like quick about it.
Because isn't part of it not even the temperature, but isn't part of it like part of the deal with fancy coffee is you want to drink it soon after it's actually made? Like
I mean,
otherwise
pretty
you just
soon,
like make a
yeah.
gallon of it and microwave it or something.
But the other thing about it is like how that's not a great business model if you're like delivering individual drinks.
Yeah.
one at a
It's
time.
like $5 a pop.
well, how is it any well, okay, first of all, they
Because you're
said-
not making as much,
no,
so you're
'cause they
spending
said
more in gas.
it has to be the order has to be $10 or more.
I mean that makes
Still
sense,
though,
I
even
guess.
$10 isn't much, but that
You're
that
right.
makes it more feasible.
I mean, I guess they're probably charging for delivery too, right? Or are they doing free delivery?
I'm not sure.
Because like
Uh,
Postmates, all those people, they
Yeah,
all
like you just
charge
pay
for
a fee.
delivery too.
Yeah. But I want to
That's
do
funny.
it. I want to do it so I could say when I'm old that I did it.
What do you mean when you're old?
Thanks for friendship, everyone.
Thanks for friendship.
Oh, thanks for friendship.